Hey YouTube, Wig here, bringing you guys an update to my Qliphort Turbo deck profile for April 2017. Actually been, I think, a good year since my last Qliphort deck profile, and I'm pretty much sticking to the same basis as the last one where I run a monster mash of Qliphort monsters, because to me it's the most fun version. I know the card Demise with the Qliphorts is more of a competitive version, but this one just seems cool to me because, like I said in my last video, it mostly focuses on you just, spamming out a lot of these monsters, making use of the pendulum summoning, and I thought that, with Link summoning coming out, the deck could be kind of, limited with the extra deck summoning, but when you implement cards like Climate Change, being able to add them back to your hand, it doesn't restrict the extra deck summoning, so you have more ways to push from your hand with the summoning. So let's go ahead and jump right into the deck profile. I run one Qliphort Scout. This card's still at 1 on the ban list, but definitely staple in the deck. It allows you to search for any Qli card by paying 800 life points, and all Qliphort monsters have the restriction to summon by special summoning any monsters except for Qliphort monsters, which is why we don't run an extra deck with this deck as well, and focus mostly just on the Qliphort monsters. And it is the Monster Mash version, so I'm running 3 Qliphort Helix. Helix and Carrier all have the effect of when they're tributed, you get the effect to destroy one of your opponent's spell or trap cards. And the pendulum effect is you can special summon monsters except for Qli monsters. It cannot be negated, and all monsters your opponent control lose 300 attack. So it's either your Qli monsters gain 300 attack or your opponent's monsters lose 300 attack. And all Qliphort monsters can be normal summoned, but they become level 4, and basically their attack becomes 1800. So it's easy to get them out. You just have to remember that when you're going off of your plays. And also 3 Qliphort Carrier. Helix stops by your opponent by destroying their spell and traps. Carrier bounces monsters back when it's tributed. So 2 very vital monsters, and the corresponding scales are scales that all Qliphort monsters have, 1 and 9, making it so you can pendulum summon most all of them except for the Qliphort monsters. But like I said, 3 of each just in this, so you reach them easy. Balanced scales as well. And 3 Qliphort Stealth, probably one of my favorite ones to tribute out. The other bigger Qliphort monsters have tribute effects. With Stealth, when he is tribute summoned by tributing Qliphort monsters, you can target one card your opponent controls or one card on the field, return it to the hand, and your opponent cannot activate cards and effects in response to this card, which is why I like it, because in the same chain with Carrier and Helix, if, like, let's say you tribute a Helix and a Carrier for Stealth, in the same chain, your opponent can't respond to any of those card effects. So it's good because you lock them down and get rid of a lot of important resources for them. And 2 Qliphort Shell. This card gains a 2 attack when tributed, and it allows you to inflict piercing as well with this card. So it's a good finisher. And what I like about all the Qliphort monsters is, yeah, they're easy to summon out, but they also have very high attack and are unaffected by monsters whose rank or level are lower than their own. So pretty difficult to get over them also. Actually, we are running not 2 but 3 Qliphort Shell. Completely missed it. I like the 3 and 3 with the Monster Mash Turbo version just because it corresponds equally with the Stealth, which is a 1, and Shell is a 9. I tried to be as balanced with these scales as I could for all the monsters, which is why I also run 2 disc. Now this, you could go back and forth between Stealth and this, basically on preference of what you want. I chose the 3 Stealth basically for the fact of Link summoning, since you're going to, with this card, when it's tribute summon, you can special 2 Qliphort monsters from your decks, but they're destroyed during the end phase. So you'll stock up on your extra deck with this card, but you will also, not be able to easily get them back after the new ruling with Link summoning. So you want to make use of more better effects, which is why I said prefer Stealth. But this is still good for that push pressure. And then I run 2 Cephalopod to finish off the, basically the equal balance of scales. It has a life point gain between the difference of your life points and your opponent's monsters in their graveyard compared to your own. With all the Qliphorts being mostly pendulum monsters, you're going to have barely any monsters in your graveyard, so you can get this guy's effect off very easily as well. Now, I don't have Monolith, otherwise I would run him in the deck. I would run 2 Monolith, which means I would basically be going for scale 1s to take out. So if I were to run 2 Monolith, I'd probably take out the 1 Stealth, and then the 1 Disc, and then go back and forth based on those plays. This is just for basically scale balance, but if you wanted to go another direction, you could take out the 1 Cephalopod and the 1 Shell as well, just for those searches. But like I said, those were the ones I recommend taking out for it. And then I run 1 Qliphort Skybase, your big hitter of the deck. Sadly, Towers is, on the ban list, so I don't see it coming off anytime soon, especially with the latest one. But to get out Skybase, excuse me, you need to tribute 3 Qliphort monsters, and then it's basically unaffected by spell and traps and activated effects from any monsters whose original level or rank is lower than this card. And once per turn, you can target one monster your opponent controls, take control of it till the end phase. So the one main reason I run this is with the push version, running all the monsters and being able to search it out with Scout. It is pretty easy to get it out, but I also like, just for the easiness, you can special it out. It's basically a 2-card summon with Cleave's End. It special summons itself, then counts as 3 tributes, which is the requirement for Skybase. And that is it for the monsters. We'll move on to spells. I run 1 Sacrifice, once again another card on the list that is at 1. It prevents your Qliphort monsters from being destroyed by battle while equipped, giving it 300 attack. It can count as 2 tributes for the tribute of a Qli monster, and when this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add a Qli monster from your deck to your hand. Probably the best card in the entire deck. It just has so much synergy. Having this card in my hand always makes me feel secure when I'm doing my plays because I have something to go off of. And 2 Laser Clips. This card allows you to basically get an additional normal summon during your main phase of a Qli monster. The normal summon of Qlis cannot be negated, so it's also a good prevention card to use. That's why I like running 2. Also, 1 Terraforming just to search it out. Yes, Laser Clip can be searched out with the Qliphort Scout. I just prefer, other search methods to get it out because I want to save Scout for basically other, uses. And 2 Forbidden Chalice. This is just because you'll negate your Qliphort monster's effects, giving them 400 attack, and then after this effect ends, they're still negated, keeping their original attack instead of keeping the 1800. And 2 Mystical Space Typhoon. I like this in this deck over Twin Twister just because you don't really want to, use your resources like discarding Qliphort monsters to the graveyard for Twin Twisters because you'll end up, unable to get them back with any other card effects. And also 1 Dark Hole. This could be Regeki. With Regeki, you can basically, pendulum summon out your Qliphort monsters, then push for game. By clearing their monster board, this is just, in here and can find which deck my Regeki's in. I want to say Spirals, but either way, basically the same concept goes with both of them. And I don't have Summoner Art in this version, basically because I only have the Scout, but if I were to run the other 2 Monoliths, I definitely want Summoner's Art in here, just because it would help with the search. I'd probably take out these 2, 1 Laser Clip and 1 Terraforming for the 2 Summoner's Art. Just 2 though, because 3 was more viable at the time when, Scout was at 3. If you run too many of those, you'll end up getting too many searches and, just have dead Summoner Arts in your hand. And then for traps, I run 3 Qliph's End. I only have 2, don't know where my 3rd one went, but until then I'm running 1 Lost Wind. It's a really good, easy trap to get a hold of to negate your opponent's effects and then reset it on the field. But Qliph's End, when you activate this, you special summon this card as an effect monster with 1800 attack and 1000 defense. It's not treated as a trap card, and during the turn this card was summoned, Qli spell and traps you control cannot be destroyed by card effects. If summoned this way, this card can be treated as 3 tributes for an Qliphort monster. Now, along with being great for Skybase, I love the card just because it protects my plays. If I were to set the scales, I don't want them to be, Twin Twister, Spell Shattering Arrow. Biggest weakness of the deck is when you can't get your scales set, and this card helps you with that effect. You can get your board set up, and then all you have to worry about is them negating your summon, but hopefully you can work around that with other cards in the deck. And then I also run 2 Climate Change. Once again, this card is very important just because it says target 3 excuse me, face up Qli pendulum monsters from your extra deck and add them to your hand. you can only activate one climate change per turn. Once again, with the new ruling of link summoning, being only able to summon to the link zones from the extra deck, putting them back in your hand will really help pendulum summoning consistency with this. And I also like climate change basically because it helps, because you can re-add scout if it's ever destroyed from your extra deck with this card to reuse again, which is also a big bonus there. And then I also run one skill drain just for the effect negation. It won't stop the tribute effects for the Qliphort monsters, so you'll still have those to go off of. And basically, if Skybase is on the field before this card is activated, then you won't have to worry about its effect being negated. Same goes for one soul drain. You don't really have any graveyard plays or banish plays to go off of, so another great card to make use of just to lock down decks with this deck. And 2 lose 1 turns. Once again, it's basically a backup to skill drain with the effect negation, switching them to defense. You don't have to worry. The only thing you have to worry about is your pendulum summonings, but other than that, your tribute effects will go off without a doubt. And 1 huge revolution is over. This is just to protect your cards once again. I prefer this to Starlight Road just because you can't special summon the Stardust Dragon, and you get to banish the card that destroys. And 1 Solemn Warning, 1 Torrential Tribute, and 1 Bottomless Trap Hole to finish off the trap cards. And like I said, no extra deck because you can't really make use of it with this deck since they're summon restriction until the one fateful day where we do get a Qliphort monster. That is an extra deck monster, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. But I hope you all enjoyed the deck profile. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.